Yeah, what's up, people? Just want to throw this out there. This is not a tribute to any David Caruso tribute video. I can help you. This is just a song going out to the bull market. Again, fooled again, thinking that maybe we'd have that 3-day sell-off any day now. Friday was a great moment in time where we once again tried to rally, failed, sold off. There's so many things out there just teasing us. And this weekend with the car bomb, how rudimentary and how awfully put together you terrorists are slacking now. Come on. What's the matter with you? Would you drop out of your training class? You don't even know how to make a nice car bomb anymore, you fucking idiots? But yes, there was a twinge going down my spine, which, I mean, I work on Wall Street. I ran from the dust of this shit. I mean, I'm not joking around. I don't want to joke around about it, the whole thing, but a twinge of fear hits me when I hear about stuff, terrorism. Did a terrorist win because I got a little twinge of fear that rides through my spine when I hear about these things? Shoe bombers, this guy, that guy. Hopefully the Jack Bauer's out there protecting me. That's all I can say. But I thought today we were going to sell off. Because, not just because of all the other countries around the planet collapsing, not just because World War III is around the corner, not because of some awful car bomb, but I thought maybe they would take all the excuses at once and Friday and use it as a jumping off point to maybe start taking some more profits in these stocks. I'm talking about the same companies. Talking about Akamai and Hartford Financial, Google and Baidu. Talking about everything in general. So again, as much as I despise day trading and the whole idea of getting in and getting out on an intraday basis, the idea of going to cash, seeing how your day plays out, and then sticking with the trend, which obviously is buying on dips. So let's talk about the positions that I gave you last week. Broadcom sucked ass. Unless you traded that position perfectly, you might have been able to get out of it flat. So I'm going to say that was a losing position. We were buying calls and buying puts. If by some reason you sold the calls that day, I think it was Thursday morning, and you held the puts till Friday at the close and got out of them at the best prices, basically if you did the complete opposite of how I traded them, you might have been able to get out of flat, maybe with a small profit. But I'm not going to say that was a winner. Let's talk about Akamai. Now there's one where we had a substantial, tremendous gain. You had to be me to fuck it up. But even me, I made money on it. I netted more on that trade than I've netted on a trade in, I gotta say, 2 years. Yeah, think about that. The puts were insignificant. We had I had $33 calls and $37 calls as a sweetener for the deal. So that worked out awesome. And then we got the Hartford Financial. Sorry about this, but just want to see where it is right now. Another Hartford Financial. So, right now, if you're under the assumption of Dow 20,000, so normally you would take your opportunity to sell the puts. I, of course, sold the calls on the HIG, held the puts, thinking that maybe we'd sell off today. Nah, didn't really work out that way, huh? So, I'm going to probably bail out of the put side too, pretty much negating any chance of making money on the Hartford. So, basically it was a shitty trade, a fantastic trade, and I guess a shitty trade. So, and then we had the Baidu short, which pretty much made the money back from the Broadcom and the Hartford losses, yes, last week. So last week was pretty good. Started shorting a little bit of Baidu, and I'm talking about a little bit, I'm talking about 20 shares, 30 shares. Added 20 more, added 20 more. Got a big 100 going at the 710 mark. Then we shorted calls. When they started creating $1,000 calls, I immediately said, all right, now I see $1,000 call out there for $4. I started selling June 9/10s for like $4 or whatever they were. And then I hear they announce a 10-for-1 split. See how sometimes you should read the news. But they announced a 10-for-1 split. Now, I understand there are a few stocks out there that do these big splits and then they die, like PCX. But that was a coal stock. This is Baidu, controller of the stock market, savior of the stock market, manipulated, whatever you want to call it. What's going to happen when Baidu splits is every Mo that wanted to buy that stock and they don't want to pay $670 or $700 or whatever, they're going to ignore the fact that it's still worth the same amount of money on paper, earnings per share and whatnot, but they're going to see Baidu at $70. Now, you don't think that everyone's going to come into that stock? And then once it gets to 80, you don't think it's going to go to 100? And then when it goes to 100, you don't think it's going to go to 120? So split adjusted, this stock will probably go to $1,200, and that's my price predictions. Timestamp that, bitches. So I covered all my Baidu this morning, made some money on it. Not as much as I should have, obviously, because the stock was $6.80. I just covered it at $6.99. So nice to hold stocks over the weekend. Cost me whatever it did, a couple thousand. Not a big deal between friends, right? Yeah. And I've been in the business for, as I said, since you've been sucking your mama's, try not to curse so much. And I've seen some crazy stuff. And I've seen reverse stock splits. I mean, back in when I started trading, when you announced a stock split, the stock would go up 50 points that day because nobody cared. For some reason, it equated with a higher valuation to your stock. So everybody would just run to it and buy it. I think that's what's going to happen with Baidu. Because if any stock reminds us from 1999, it is Baidu. So I will never, obviously if something extraordinary happens and it breaks 680, we start crashing, I'll maybe reshort it again. But for now, I'm calling clean slate. Clean slate. That means today's day number 1 again. We're out of, well, let's just talk about the differences between trading and investing. Now, I still own Akamai and Hartford and Broadcom. And these are, 200 share lots in an account where I can risk them going to zero, going to $4, $50, 0, 100, 20, 50, 7, sorry, Tourette's. I still like these companies. And people were kind of appalled at my idea of shorting Akamai at 40 on Friday. Thursday. I held some at short at 40, and I said, maybe this thing's going to retest 38. It's called trading. It's a pullback. I love the company. I've always loved the company. And they've proven now that they're doing it right, and everybody else blows. But if I come on the show one day and say, hey, we're shorting Akamai, we're buying Akamai puts, doesn't mean I don't like the company. As an investor, if you want to be an investor, and you have to qualify this statement with if the market continues to rise, which it probably will, barring Godzilla and Rodan battling it out in Midtown Manhattan, there is a good chance Akamai will be a $50 stock and Broadcom will be a $40 stock. And Hartford Financial will be a $35 stock. That is beyond my supernatural powers. Again, here, I love when people say that the stock market's not gambling. And I once came to the defense that day trading is not gambling because I find it easier, well, at the time, I felt it easier to predict where a stock would be in the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, intraday. I found it easier to predict where that stock was going at the moment than where it's going to be 3 or 4 months from now. So what I'm saying is, as I qualify, any stock you buy, I don't know if Hartford Financial is going to announce that they've been indicted by the SEC. I don't know if Broadcom's chip is going to fail. Maybe their new prototype's not going to work. The stock could gap down 17 points. And maybe somebody will come along and just come up with another way of buffering the internet and Akamai will go out of business. I don't know these things. That's why I say, just come hang out and we'll talk about it. All right? Come here, baby. Come here.
Your mother likes it.